You are now listening to the Building Her Dream podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with introverted women entrepreneurs who are building their dream lives and businesses on their own terms. Hosted by business operations strategist, author, and the founder of Building Her Dream, Shayla Burtin. To learn more about this podcast and our magazine, visit www.buildingherdream.com. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Building Her Dream podcast. I'm your host and lifelong introvert, Shayla Burtin, and I'm so excited to chat with today's guest. She is Karen Oliver, a master life purpose coach and health coach, all the way from North Carolina. Hello, Karen. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Shayla. I hope I'm saying your name right. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
You're welcome. Excited to have you here. Now, I always like to start off with a fun question. So, if you could wake up tomorrow and have your perfect dream life, what would that look like for you?
I would have to say it would have to be more traveling, especially traveling for work, but not just work, but fun.
Yeah.
And just being out there in a community even more, just helping other women and helping men and even rising teenagers who wants to follow behind us and be entrepreneurs and do all those great things. And of course, who doesn't want more money?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Mhm. Absolutely. So where would you like to travel?
That first, I would say Italy. Italy is definitely number one.
Yes.
Um, and of course, you know, our motherland, Africa. There's parts of Africa I would definitely love to visit. There's just so much more abroad that I think some of us haven't got a chance to experience. I'm pretty sure some of us others have gotten a
Yeah.
chance to go abroad, but I definitely would love to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same, same. I definitely want to step foot on the continent of Africa.
Mhm.
I just keep looking at like the travel time to get there
Oh
is
yeah.
a lot. It's
Mhm.
a lot.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, well maybe if I make a stop somewhere in Europe first, take a break, visit sightsee, and then get back on a plane and go there. But
Yes, yes.
hmm oh,
Exciting.
cool. Yeah, very cool. So Karen, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and the work that you do?
Yeah, so hi everybody. My name is Karen Oliver, and like Shayla said, I am a master life purpose coach and a health coach. I'm also a podcaster, and I have dipped and dabbed a little bit in the skincare business, but I do have that on halt. But there's still things that I'm building with my vegan cosmetic line. So I'm kind of versatile, and I did learn becoming an entrepreneur that it's good to have more than one streams of income, but
Mm,
still making sure that this is something that you want to do. You want to make sure that is really your true authentically niche. Like that is the niche that you're supposed to be in. Because I know that we can love a lot of things and like a lot of things, but sometimes it just may not be, it may be too much for us to handle, or we just don't have the grasp to do it or whatever. So just taking time to truly find your authentic self and identity and what you want to do. So I learned, I'm just going to be honest. I thought at first, okay, hey, after I discovered that, my calling was to be a coach, I thought that that was going to be it. I thought that that was just all I was going to do, but that wasn't it. And then I began to have dreams and visions of me doing other things like dabbing in the cosmetic industry because I am in healthcare. I've been in healthcare since 2009. So, into, eating healthy, even though I know sometimes it's hard and we don't always eat healthy every day, but when you see yourself making the change and maturing, that's good. So I kind of failed in the vegan field with, cosmetics and healthy eating and stuff like that, stuff that we can use naturally and do holistically or whatever. So I was like, wow. Then, as I'm doing my diagram, I fell into podcasting. Well, actually, podcasting is extension of, my coaching brand. So I started the podcasting first in 2020. And after I, finished everything with my coaching certifications and everything, that's when I started building my platform. And it was a little hard. Of course, anything that you do, it's going to be a process. And so we have to understand that we're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail at some things, but then that's what makes us mature and grow. And sometimes we've got to look at other professionals, go to other seminars, go to other webinars or whatever, so you can know what you're doing right in your niche. Or should I be doing this over here or should I not be doing? But I do believe, I just want to, say this, I do believe in multiple streams of income, but first and number one, finding out what is your true authentic niche. Is there something else I'm supposed to be doing, or is I'm only supposed to be doing this? Because I actually thought I was only supposed to just coach people or just coach women. And then I realized that I needed to open up coaching to men in my mentorship program, because there's a lot of young men and even older men that needs different types of coaching as well. So I was like, hey, let me invite the men into the coaching program, because really I catered with women. WCD coaching stands for Women Committed to Dreams. And now we have an academy that is open up to men as well in the mentorship program. So I was like, okay, so this is just what I'm supposed to be doing. I know, because I'm dedicated to this, I'm committed to this, or whatever. And for a long time, I thought that, is I'm doing too much. Sometimes we can think that, am I doing too much? Do I need to take a step back from this and that? Um, Sometimes it's about just giving time to each thing that you have in your hands, because if it was given to you and then you can work it, it's just a way to pivot with the things that are in your hand. Because if you're building dreams, and I'm pretty sure, we all have more than one dreams. That's why I love your podcast, Shayla. If we're building a future, if we're building dreams, that's when we've got to do the brainstorming. That's when we've got to start plugging at the things and writing down, okay, I know I can do this, or I love to do this, but is this something I'm gonna be dedicated to? This is something I'm gonna be committed to? When the going gets tough, can I stick it out? And if you have to keep second guessing that, and then maybe you do need to dig deeper and do more soul searching before you just start doing multiple things. But there is a sense of direction with multiple streams of income, because it's important these days. Now we are being our own bosses. Now we're actually sitting down and digging deep and finding out, wait a minute, I can be an entrepreneur no matter what anybody says. I can be a business professional. I think we get sidetracked by, well, they're doing the same thing I'm doing, or they have maybe the same niche. It doesn't matter. The way that it was given to you is going to be different, because you have your own flavor, I'm saying, to it. They have their own flavor to it. And it's about focusing on you building your dream and not worrying about the next person building their dream. So that's what I had to realize, even when I started coaching, and and being that healthcare came together, and I'm like, okay, the vegan cosmetics, and the health and nutrition program, how to eat and things to put in your body and stuff like that. I was like, well, whoa, 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 whoa. But then it started coming together, because I said, this is still on the health. It started coming together. I was doing it. I was taking my time. I wasn't rushing. And as you all heard me say, like, I do have the cosmetic line on the pause, because I want to research inventory. I want to take my time, and I want to make sure that I'm doing the right things, so I won't continue to keep making mistakes. So that's what I would say, what I'm saying, about just really, what I'm saying, how I got started, how I built, these brands. And I actually built them during the pandemic. I would say like 2019 going into 2020. And I've been doing it, even with, the podcast. And like, I didn't know how in the world. I started off with doing so many episodes, like in season one and season two. I know it wasn't on my own strength, but I had the consistency and commitment to do it, the dedication to do it. I took time to do it. And that's another thing. If we don't take time to do the things that we need to do, and then maybe that's not what we need to be doing, because
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot of pressure, and so you're going to have to learn how to step away sometimes and come back to, so you can deal with it.
Wow. Wow. So listening to you, I can tell that you are a coach. I could definitely tell you're a coach. You shared so many gems in your introduction. So thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
So what is your podcast about? Is it along the same lines or what is it about?
It is. So it's Dream Fearless podcast. We
Okay.
actually we started off in season one with WCD podcast, which was
Hmm.
the extension of the brand. It was like, and I was saying, well, what can I get to correlate with everything that I have going on? Like with the
Yeah.
cosmetics, with the coaching, the mission. And so you have to think about all that. When you're starting off, you're like, okay, we started out with this name, then we went to Stay True podcast in season two. And so when I got to season three and season four, I said, what can I bring as a collective together so it can stick, that represents the brands that I have. And so that's when, we came up with Dream Fearless podcast.
Love it. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are a coach, you have a podcast, you have a skincare line, you're in healthcare. These are a lot of different things, and a lot of the things that you do involve a lot of talking, a lot of communicating with people, but you're an
Mhm.
introvert. So when did you first discover or realize that you were an introvert?
I would say for a long time I thought I was an extrovert.
Hmm.
And I would just say this, that I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert. And sometimes you can say that, okay, well, I think that I'm both. But I would say this, I was an extrovert a lot coming up to my young adult. And then when I got into my mid primes or whatever, I noticed myself being more of an introvert. And that could be because there was a lot of things that we did and shared, and there was a lot of things that we experienced coming up as a teenager, as a young adult, and everything. And it's like now the things that you see that you may go out or be around this person or be around that person, you wouldn't do. You're more focusing on business, focusing on making connections, focusing on your family or whatnot. It's just like you've grown out of that stage. And so that's what I would say. And that's how I feel like I became more of an introvert now than an extrovert. Like just making sure home is taken care of. It's like home, family, business. Um, Even though you do go out to events and community events and stuff like that, it's like, hey, I'm hanging around a different circle of people now, or my time is dedicated to business, family, and work. Even though you have fun, you're like, okay, well, I didn't have fun like I used to when I was a teenager and coming up. But it's like now, it's like, people say, oh, well, we can't get you to really, go out, or just hang out for, maybe till 11 or 12 o'clock. And it's like, nah, I think I'll go back in. But I think
Mm,
more so now, I think I'm gonna say this, Shayla, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of more people may be introvert now because everything is pretty much online, where you don't have to go outside. You've got things that you can connect with more so online than going out. You know how, for instance, people will say, okay, well, got this event going on. But if you can't come out, in the community, guess what? You can buy a ticket online. So most
mm,
people be like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and buy a ticket online. That's just like with the dating. Um, the if people got online as well. I think it's just be safer if I date online, but then you have to look at it now. It's not always safe to
Right.
date online because you've got a lot of catfishing and stuff going on, and you really want to know that you're talking to the right person. So it's just like it's like, which one do I choose? But if you're so
Right.
used to, being in all the time, you're going to choose to go that route.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting perspective.
Hmm.
Um, do you feel like when you're around people attending events or um wherever else you're around people, does your energy drain like faster, do you think, when you're around people? Do you get tired faster?
I would say, I think I would say yes. Because you know how when you go to a mall
Mhm.
and on the weekends and it's very packed and you're trying to get through the line, you're trying to get through to pay for your stuff, or you can just be walking over there to the restaurant and you can't get through, you can find yourself getting frustrated and getting drained, saying, "Hey, I just want to get my stuff and I just want to go." But you got to realize that it's going to take time to get out of the mall because you got so many people around or whatever. So you like, well, I don't even know if I'm not gonna come back on this day, but then it's like, okay, during the week, you've got people there at the mall too. So it's like,
Right.
hey, it's gonna be the same thing. So what are you gonna do? Just shop online, which, I do just a little bit, just a little bit. But most times, I still go out. But if there's a big crowd, it's like, it's so easy to get frustrated and stuff. Because sometimes you may have in the back of your mind, I don't know, some other people out there may think like this too. I don't know if somebody's going to get in an altercation here, because some people look at big crowds like that even though they shouldn't, because you don't want to stop people from going out and having fun and having a good time, but the way that things are going in this generation, people have in the back of their mind, I don't know if there's going to be an altercation, I don't know if something is going to happen, so I don't know if it's safe for me to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am definitely big on shopping online. Please send it.
Yeah.
Let me just find what I need real quick
Mm-hmm.
and have it sent to me because I get anxiety when I'm like
Mm-hmm.
at a mall or going to the store. If there's too
Mm-hmm.
many people, I hate people in my way. Um, so like I do my grocery shopping at 6:30 in the morning. It's just me
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of people I could get in and out.
Yeah.
Um, and if I'm going to like a clothing store or something like that, I'm there right waiting for the door to be unlocked. Let me
Mm-hmm.
let me get in before everybody else comes.
You know what?
Mm.
You said the same. I mean, you were saying that my parents do the same exact thing. And my
Mhm.
father, he's getting up because he already gets up at 5, him and my mom, but they're gonna be at that grocery store no later than 6:30.
Yep. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Perfect timing. Except sometimes that's when they're still stocking, so that's the annoying
Mm-hmm.
part, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Wow. Yeah, this is gonna be so funny and interesting, Shayla. So
Okay.
I was the one that never said I said I do not want to be an entrepreneur. I can remember one day going to church years ago, and it might have been like 2012 or 2013, and everybody, they were talking about business and stuff, and so everybody, go to the altar and they like, hey, what do you want to do? Just looking around like, do I even need to be up here? Because they talking about businesses and I'm not trying to be an entrepreneur. The very first thing that I said was, I don't want to go through the hassle. I didn't want to go through the pressure. I didn't want to go through the test. And then when I look back, I was like, I really did not know what I wanted to do. I had some more soul searching to do at that time because I really didn't know. And then when I thought about it outside, I said, everything is a test. You got to have patience. There's pressure. It's not just business. There's life and there's other things that go in your world where there's going to be pressure or whatever. But that's what I kept saying. I was like, yeah, I don't even really want to handle this and that. I said, I don't want to fight through the hustle and bustle. But like I said, I realized I hadn't done any soul searching, and I really didn't really find out what I was supposed to be doing. In 2016, I've always been a good listener, and someone has always told me that I was a good listener, and they was like, Karen, you can listen to other people where other people be like just tune folks out and they'll close their ears because they was like, people don't understand there's a deeper connection with listening to others and in taking what they're saying. And I didn't think any more about that until I was like, wow, that's really deep because we do have to listen to others because we want others to listen to us and then take where we're coming from. But she's like, I see that in you. And as I started, brainstorming, I remember starting a group, and I'm a talker and I have the gifts of help. I love to, help people. If I've been through something, or if I can give encouragement, you know, I would love to do that. So I started a community group on Facebook, and I didn't really think any of it around 2016 or 2017. I was just, giving feedback, giving advice, giving encouragement. And, it started to settle in around that time, even though I hadn't done anything. And I really didn't start digging into my purpose till around the end of 2019, going into the pandemic. And I'm like, wow, should I study more about this coaching thing? I kept saying that. And that's when I went to school and I started, going to other webinars and seminars and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, it really hit home. It was some things that was said that really hit home, and especially about being there for others, listening, and just my own experiences as well. And then I said to myself, I said, I don't want to leave the healthcare field at all. And I said, I want to do something. I knew that I had a autoimmune disorder called rheumatism. So that's a form of rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disorder. So um, mines were kind of like mid grade. It wasn't severe. So when you don't eat the right things, your bones and muscles can get inflamed. So I was like, I want to share my story, and I want to share other tips with other people on how they can prevent things, and eat a little bit more healthy, so they can reduce medication. Not saying that, some people you may can't come off your medication 100% totally. And then, you can, if you do the right things and if you just stick with it, you can reduce your medication, or you can completely come off of. I've heard stories where people say they did the work and they was able to come off their medication. Some said they came off for a while, some will say it got reduced. So it's just about how, I'm saying, you look at your body, how you look at your body, how you treat your body, and what types of food ticks off, like what triggers your, let's say for instance, migraines. What triggers migraines? What triggers your muscles to get inflamed? Why do you keep having a stomach ache? Could be something with the digestive system, gut health. So I started going to school and tapping into all of those things. So it was like a dual school at the Integrative Institute of Health and Nutrition, where we were talking about life. And then the doctor name was Dr. Rosenthal. And he also talked about, just holistic nutrition. And so I got into that. And then I started doing more research on just how to coach people. Like anybody know how to talk to people, like me and you, Shayla, or other people. We know how to have great conversations and stuff, but can you really help? You have to ask yourself, can you really help this person? And then they have to understand on the other side, do I want the help? Because a lot of people think that you're supposed to be the have the magic wand, but if you don't do the work, if you don't put in the work and say, hey, this is something that you need, and you need to change, and then there's no need for you to hire a coach if you're not going to help do the work like the coach is going to help do the work. So that's when I realized, hey, I got something to say. I got something to talk about. Not along that, like I researched, I had, mentors from school. So it's about, getting into that practice vein, saying, hey, I need to listen to professionals. I need to go back to school. I need to do this so I can enhance my purpose. That's what I'm trying to say,
Right.
enhance. So I can enhance my purpose and do what I need to do. So that's when I realized, okay, I'm going to take this community further. But first, guess what? Karen has to do the work before I can put it out
Right.
there. I got to do the work. And I know that, along the way, I'm going to make mistakes, but then I'll know the mistakes that I don't need to make and continue to go forward. And so that's when, after I finish, I start doing my trials and start doing classes and start doing my own videos. And when you start doing your classes and putting them on there as a coach, there's some things that you'd be like, okay, you look back at it and you're like, wait a minute, this don't sound too good, or maybe not even need to put more information in. It's like doing a test on yourself. And then you
Yeah.
start getting a trial of other people saying, hey, how do you feel about this class? How do you feel about this session, this group? Is there something that I can do that's better, or is it something that I'm doing wrong? And I think that not just a coach, that any entrepreneur should tell their customers or clients, like, what is it that I'm doing that you feel that you're not benefiting from? So I think
Right.
that that's very, important. And so as I started that, and as I was doing the podcast, I had entrepreneurs actually coming on there and for the first season, and that really helped me a lot to see where they grew from, where they've grown from, where they came from, how they had their falls, and how they got back up and climbed back up, and just those peers and those connections helping you to grow even the more. And I want to say that I'm always growing. We want to grow, every day. And so when I found that out, I'm like, hey, yes, I have a message. And I'm going to stay committed to it. I'm going to be consistent no matter how hard it is. And so I've been, doing it ever since. And, like I said, I just opened up the program to men in I think it was 2022, because before it was just women for the first 2 years. And I was like, hey, they need an outlet. They need something that they can, talk about. They need help in in maybe in different areas. So why not help them? So being a great listener is really what caught my clients' attentions, because they share it to where they've had coaches with the fancy, what you call it, fancy websites, or the fancy, what you call it, the freebies, the fancy freebies. And they was like, they didn't learn anything. That's like, I spent thousands of dollars. And I know sometimes, I'm pretty sure some of us have done that, where we spent too much money on something that we just didn't benefit from. But you want somebody to be authentic and real with you. And that's how, I continue to keep coaching, because I know that I will want somebody to be that way with me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Hmm. What's one of the biggest challenges that you faced as you built your business, or as you are running your business? What's a challenge you faced?
Hmm. I think the biggest challenge was getting the funding
Mm.
that you need to market yourself. When you first get out there, you're marketing yourself and you're doing everything for yourself. So you're being the assistant, you're being the receptionist,
Right.
and everything like that. And it takes money to invest. And I just want to share that is something that we have to do as entrepreneurs. You do have to invest, but you have to invest in the amount that you can. Because I would
Mm.
say where I messed up is that I was trying to invest everything out of my paycheck into my business. But you got to keep in mind, I still have a household to run. So, hey, if I can't invest in the podcast today, but I do have enough to invest into this website. So I may
Yeah.
not have all the microphones I need, but I can get an affordable microphones. I think how we messed up, and I did it too, was, oh, I got to get The best microphone, I got to get the highest price microphone. Yeah, you want a good quality microphone. You want good quality equipment, but I don't think we need to look at the highest brand names and go
Right.
spend so much money to where we don't have anything left for ourselves. And so we have to be careful when investing. You know how much you can invest in certain things, especially if you got more than one business and you know what you need to do number one. Like for me, I already knew coaching was a priority that I needed to focus on more so than the cosmetics and anything else. And so I focused on that. So I invested in websites, I invested in everything, but marketing was a whole different big ball game. And we all know that we need marketing. And yes, you can do organic marketing on your own because I did it for a long time by myself. But I also went to webinars and I talked to professionals that were saying, hey, they would give me tips. This is what you can do because I knew I didn't have the money then. And because marketing sometimes costs around probably 2,500 and on up front to get a marketing system for your
Right.
business. But there's other systems I found out that you can research and get. And that doesn't mean saying, hey, I'm never going to get that. When you get the money that you need, you can invest in that software system that's going to help your business, but you have to wait until you get it and you have to put money to the side. And I don't know who else may have done this, but I know that was one of my biggest problems trying to get everything at one time and I didn't have everything at one time. So I had to learn like within the next year. I think 2021 and 2022 is when I start getting more information, more advice that professionals would send me and say, hey, Karen, you can do this, you can do that. And then I had to learn I'm going to take some over here and put this to the side and I'm going to invest in this. But if I don't have it, I can't invest in this like let's say 5,000 or $4,000 software for my business because guess what? You got to be making the revenue to pay for that things you don't want to keep coming out of your pocket. So I would say funding was the biggest challenge and something that I studied on more and more and more each day. I want to start doing campaigning and things like that. And you may have to do it for a while yourself, but put something back towards the systems that you need or things that you're going to need for your business because funding can, you know, kind of take you out of here when you're trying to do too much and you've got to make sure you have the money, coming back in before you can just pour out that money. So that was a challenge, but I learned to find other resources until I got there. So you just have to make sure you take the time to find those resources for funding.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's really, really good advice. I know funding is a huge challenge for most entrepreneurs. So,
Yeah.
yeah. hmm Well, Karen, it has been so great chatting with you. Before we go, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to, if there's anything else you want to share with our listeners, you can do that now. Or if you just want to let us know where we can find you, you can do that as well.
Thank you so much, Shayla. I was glad to be here and with you all. I do want to just let you all know that WCD Coaching Incorporation Academy is some of the academy that I started for men and women this year. So the academy is the academy is mostly the business coaching side. So if you're a rising entrepreneur or you're wanting to be a coach, there is availability and slots open for sessions for the Business Academy. Personal coaching is always ongoing, but the Business Academy does have a certain amount of seats or whatever, and that is for entrepreneurs and rising coaches. And to find me or to find information about that, you can find me and the links and stuff are there on Instagram at official Karen Oliver on Instagram and YouTube. Is the same name, official Karen Oliver, and Karen Oliver on LinkedIn, comma, um, MAA and CIA. So it'll be Karen Oliver, MAA and CIA on LinkedIn. Also on Facebook as Karen Oliver, but If you need to email or book a consultation, you can book there. So you can find me there.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so we'll definitely check you out on social media and we'll have all of your links in our show notes. So our listeners can check you out. Again, thank you so much for joining me, Karen.
It's been my pleasure, Shayla. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you to our audience for listening. This has been another episode of the Building Her Dream podcast. If you've enjoyed it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, leave us a review, and stay up to date with what we're doing by visiting www.buildingherdream.com.